Talk Radio 640 WGST.
Talk Radio 640 WGST, about 6 minutes past the hour of 3. And I am Rob Scott, and very, very happy to announce the debut of a brand new show here at Talk Radio 640 WGST, Health Tech Talk with Ben Choder. And Ben, of course, is here. I'm just basically steering the ship. Ben, good afternoon, and welcome to the 640 family.
Rob, what a greeting. Thank you so much, man. I'm excited to be working with you.
So here's the thing. They said, Rob, would you kind of come in and help Ben a little bit at the beginning? And not that you need it. I've already been talking with you off the air, and you're a seasoned vet. But the thing I was curious about is Health Tech Talk. And as I read this little sheet that they gave me,
Blurb. We like to call it blurb. That's a professional term.
Is that the word?
Yeah.
I got to tell you, this is something else. I've never heard of a show like this. You're blending like 14 different things here.
Yes,
whether it be healthcare and the cutting edge of technology, and then investing, and so I'm lost already. Okay, so Ben, you're going to have to help us out. But every Saturday from 3 to 4, Ben will be here coaching you folks through this. And please, just a quick overview of what it is this show's about.
Rob, over the next couple of weeks and couple of months, you're going to find that, we're at this cross-section between where healthcare is colliding directly with science and technology, right? So it's not just about coming up with pharmaceutical products anymore, and it's not just coming up with, new technologies. It's about how it's combining to create healthier patients and better engagement between patients and their physicians. So we hope every week people are going to learn a little bit about companies that are publicly traded, biotech companies, genome companies, device manufacturers, health and fitness companies. I actually just came back from CES conference, Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And probably about 30% of the entire show was about health tech. So whether it is Fitbit wearing products that monitor this, or how do we have the health home, how do we monitor patients when they get home, technology is exploding. One little fact for you, Rob, is over $4 billion was invested in 2014 in the health tech space. In 2011, 12, and 13 combined, it didn't equal $4 billion. Over 256 companies in the space raised over $2 million each.
All right, so I'm not exaggerating when I say it's exploding.
It's insane. It's great. So this is going to be so much fun, and every week we're going to hope to bring to this audience that's listening to Health Talk new companies that are changing the way we treat patients, and which is the perfect segue to our first guest that we're having on the show.
And right before we go, and then I'm going to get out of your way.
No, man, you're here the whole time.
Well, here's the thing. John Q. Public turns on the show 3 o'clock every Saturday.
Yep.
And then at 4 o'clock when the show is over, what are you hoping John Q. Public takes away from this show?
That they walk away with a little more knowledge on different products, different treatments, different areas to be thinking about to create a healthier environment. And let them know that there are things are out there you don't even think are even made. A lot of this stuff is Star Trek, right? You think it's the future, but it really isn't. It's today. It's here. And to me, that's the best part of this.
And his name is Ben Choder. It's Health Tech Talk every Saturday, 3 to 4 on Talk Radio 640 WGST. And you've got guests.
And speaking about a company that has amazing technology and is doing amazing things in the world of nerves, right? So is a company called Axogen. And with me today is Jill Schiaparelli and Dr. Bagheri. I'm very excited to have both of them on the show. We're going to learn a little bit about their products. We're going to learn a little bit about the company. And hopefully everyone at home who's listening to Health Talk Live is going to learn a little bit. So, Jill, I want to start with you. Incredible company. But give the audience a little idea what Axogen's all about.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having us on the show. Axogen's delighted to be here, and congratulations on the debut.
Thank you so much.
Axogen is a very special company. We're the only company that's exclusively focused on peripheral nerve repair, and maybe a lot of people don't know what that is, but peripheral nerves are the wires of your body. They're everywhere, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, and when they're injured, they can cause a lot of problems like pain, numbness, and inability to move.
Wow. That's amazing. So now, Dr. Bagheri, just so as everyone knows, you're with Georgia Oral and Facial Reconstructive Surgery. That's your organization, and anyone listening could reach out. You're based in Atlanta.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit. How did you get involved with the company, and how has it changed your practice?
Right. Well, thank you for having us on the show. It's really nice to be here. Basically, as you know, there's nerves all over your body, so nerve surgery is nothing new, and it's not necessarily new in my practice. It's been going along for years. What's changed because of this product is the ability to treat patients more effectively and quickly with lesser cost and without disturbing other parts of the body. And by that I mean, before in our practice, whether it's mine or other parts of the body, we used to borrow nerves or graft nerves from elsewhere and use them for reconstructing injured nerves. Now the technology is there to allow us to use previously donated human nerves, which is provided by Axogen, that I use on a weekly basis in my practice and help our patients restore their function. And as mentioned, it's oftentimes loss of sensation or loss of motor ability to move arms or legs or facial muscles.
So basically, using the technology, using this treatment, we're creating better quality of life for the patients?
You're right. At the end of the day, any medical or surgical intervention is to improve the patient's quality of life. And so that's really what it's about. If we can do that in a better way, in a more effective way, with less risk to the patient, that's what brings a winning equation to the table.
So I watched a video that I saw on a young woman named Tasha who was a patient. Can you tell me a little bit about, what was going on?
So there's many patients that we see on a regular basis. Folks come to my particular practice here in Atlanta with nerve injuries. In my particular practice is in the head and neck facial area, and this could involve oftentimes loss of sensation or development of pain from injuries that have happened because of either surgical complications or trauma or anything that has happened to the patient. So what an example would be a patient who suffered for example, injury from a motor vehicle accident or a trauma or a tumor, and sometimes you lose tissue or injure tissue such as nerves, and traditionally bone and soft tissue could be repaired with bone grafts and so forth, but nerve grafting is more of a difficult task, if I may say. And so the new thing in this decade, so to speak, is the ability to use human nerves that are donated from other individuals and are processed in such a way that don't have the prior complications of graft rejection. And that's really key in this product.
Right. I want to remind everyone you're listening to a Health Talk. We're here every Saturday from 3 to 4 p.m. And we're on air with Axogen. And it's a publicly traded company, AXGN, on NASDAQ. And Jill, I want to ask you a couple questions right now. One of the cool things is I also watched a video on Ed, a soldier.
Right.
So your products aren't just for oral. There's many areas. I'd love you to tell us a little bit about the different areas that your technology and your products work in, and then also talk to me a little about the Ed story. It really moved me, this vet.
Yeah. Well, let me just frame this up for the listeners. Every year, more than 1.4 million people suffer a traumatic nerve injury, and because nerves are everywhere in the body, that means that we have a lot of different medical professionals and surgeons treating them. So while Dr. Bagheri is treating oral nerves, many injuries are in the hands and arms, as well as in the lower extremity. So if people are suffering from a nerve injury, they must get treatment from a doctor right away.
Right. Wow.
And I will be happy to share the Ed story with you as we start to wrap this up.
Great. Which we're going to come right back. And you're listening to Talk Radio 640 WGST. Brand new show today, Health Tech Talk with Ben Choder. Jill Schiaparelli's in the studio with us. Dr. Chirag Bagheri is in the studio with us. And we'll be back after these breaks. Going to pay a couple of bills. Health Tech Talk every Saturday, 3 to 4 on Talk Radio 640 WGST.
Attention. This is the Alarm Force Central Station. We are receiving a panic signal. Is everything okay?
It's Jane. My password is 452. I just heard glass shatter downstairs.
Jane, stay calm. The authorities are on their way and will update them on your situation. I'll stay on the line with you until help arrives.
Get two-way voice from Alarm Force even without a home phone line. Don't miss out. Get CellWave installed at no charge for January only.
Call 1-800-267-2001. Alarm Force.
Dad, why do you think Reliable Heating and Air is the largest train dealer in North America?
Well, Daniel, we've been doing it great since '78, installing train systems with the best warranty in the industry, and you can't stop a train.
Huh. I figured it was because we have over 200 trucks and can provide help right away when needed.
Well, that's important, Daniel, but I think it comes down to just one thing: trust.
Trust?
Absolutely, Daniel. Reliable stands behind every job until our customers are 100% satisfied. Then they tell their friends and neighbors, and they tell family, and they tell...
Okay, Dad, I got it. Everyone is just looking for a company they can count on to provide quality plumbing, electrical, duct cleaning, and HVAC services.
It's just that simple, Daniel. You and I make sure if something's not to our customers' liking, that we fix it and make it just right.
Call us at 770-594-9969 or visit us at reliableair.com.
See why Reliable has earned the trust of thousands of your neighbors.
I'm about to jump out of this airplane to show you why you need to incorporate. See, running your business without being incorporated is like
skydiving without a parachute. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business, you can lose everything. Your home, your car, even your life savings.
Phew. Incorporation is your parachute. That's why LLC.com is now giving away a free incorporation guide to all business owners, so you can incorporate in just 10 minutes. Call 1-800-700-6044 for your free 10-minute incorporation guide. They don't provide legal or financial advice, just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. You wouldn't skydive without a parachute. Don't run your business without being incorporated. Protect your home, your car, and your life savings. Call now for your free guide. 1-800-700-6044. 1-800-700-6044. 1-800-700-6044.
I'm Mike Roberts. I just rebuilt the engine of my 2008 Camaro. You should hear it roar. This engine wakes up the whole neighborhood.
Well, Mike, rebuilding a car engine can be fun, but I'm talking about a different kind of fun. I'm talking about working on machines with 60,000 pounds of pure thrust. Jets and airplanes. Those are the big boy engines with big boy pay for guys who fix them. According to BLS.gov, aircraft mechanics average over $55,000 per year. At Aviation Institute of Maintenance, we train airplane mechanics in months, not years. Earn your FAA certifications, master the machines, and then go to work for top airlines like Delta, JetBlue, United, American, and Southwest. Don't wait to start your new career. Call Aviation Institute of Maintenance today at 877-JET-JOBS or visit masterofthemachines.com. For gainful employment and consumer information, visit us at masterofthemachines.com.
Is there really such a thing as a safe place to put your money? And where would that be? Under the mattress? Stuffed in a cookie jar? No. You want real safety? Find out about the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC. It protects your money up to $250,000 in bank accounts like checking, savings, and CDs. And talk about solid. In 75 years, no one has ever lost a penny of FDIC-insured money. Better odds than your cookie jar. So if you have $250,000 or less in any one FDIC-insured bank, you have no need to worry. Your money is fully protected. If you have more or aren't sure, visit FDIC.gov or call 1-877-ASK-FDIC. The more you know, the safer your money.
On the Dave Ramsey Show, life happens caller after caller.
2.5 years ago, you guys roll up your sleeves and go crazy to get this mess cleaned up.
Yep, sold some stuff.
What'd you sell?
I have a large collection of nerd things.
Now, what kind of nerd things?
A board game collection.
That's not too nerdy. It's not as bad as ancient Star Wars characters or something.
I've got some of that, too.
Oh,
some
there's
Darth
that,
Vader,
too.
some Luke Skywalker.
Got that. Okay. Oh, no, I went there, didn't I?
The Dave Ramsey Show, weekdays at 2:06 on Talk Radio 640 WGST.
Talk Radio 640 WGST, 20 after the hour of 3. And from now on, every Saturday from 3 to 4, you will be tuned into Health Tech Talk with Ben Choder. I'm Rob Scott. And we're happy you're along for the ride. This is way above my pay grade as far as the education I have, Ben, but it's fascinating stuff. You've got a couple of folks in the studio with us today, Jill Schiaparelli and Dr. Bagheri. And again, for the folks who, I mean, obviously we're all just tuning in for the first time to Health Tech Talk. What are you trying to get done here?
It's all about the collision between science and healthcare and bringing it out to the audience so they know what is out there. Maybe every week you're going to learn something new. You're going to see a new technology. You're going to see a new treatment. You're going to see a new product, and it will help you hopefully stay healthier.
Sure. And the folks today, you're talking nerves.
We're talking nerves, and I'm with Axogen, and I'm really excited to have Dr. Bagheri and Jill with me. So, Jill, here's the first question I got. How do people know that they have any nerve issues? I've had surgeries. How would I know? What are some of the first things you think about when you, or how would I find out?
Well, nerve injuries can happen to anyone, infants, children, adults, male, female. And some of the symptoms you might experience, depending on where the nerve is in the body, might be numbness, that feeling like you've slept on your arm, right, except that you have it all the time. You might have pain. In fact, pain is a very common symptom.
Right.
And then you may have loss of movement or weakness. And if you have those symptoms and you've recently had a surgery or an injury, you need to get to a doctor and get it diagnosed and figure out what's going on. Don't wait.
But how do I go? Do I just go to my doctor and say, hey, my hand's been numb after the surgery? And do they normally just think, oh, it must be a nerve injury? Or what's the mindset?
Well, that's a very good question, and I think that's one of the challenges we have in healthcare is making sure you get to a surgeon who is familiar with nerve injuries and is capable of diagnosing them. For example, Dr. Bagheri is an expert in oral nerves. And so if somebody suspects an oral nerve surgery, they should go to a trained oral maxillofacial surgeon. If someone suspects a nerve injury in the hand or the arm, which is a very common location, they should go to a surgeon who has a fellowship degree in extremity surgery.
So Dr. Bagheri, is it normal or is it commonplace that someone who has wisdom teeth pulled out to have some nerve issues?
That's a great question. And as you know, wisdom teeth are taken out in the hundreds by the month. But it is a very unusual complication to have a nerve injury from really any procedure. But if you do have a nerve injury, like Jill said, you could present with pain or numbness. And in the oral surgery, oftentimes, in about 1 in 2,000 folks that get their third molar or wisdom teeth removed, they end up with a numb tongue or lip and lose ability to taste food. So whether it's an oral nerve or not, the most important thing is to make a diagnosis. Patients come in with a disability, if you will, and our job is to figure out what happened, how it happened, and perhaps a way to correct it in smoothly and as fast as possible. So that's what I do.
So Doc, but just to put it in terms, so it was 1 in every 2,000, but how many wisdom teeth are pulled out in the U.S. a year alone? About
thousands
and thousands.
We actually track it at 10 million.
10 million.
10 million teeth a year.
So percentage-wise, it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people who could end up with some nerve damage.
Yes.
So this leads to another thing. I think what's really cool that your company put together is you put a doc finder or something like a technology. So obviously, since your treatment in the nerve is new, what you're doing, relatively new. Not every doctor does it, so how do I find someone?
Well, as the only company in nerve repair, Axogen quickly realized...
Oh, can I interrupt for a second?
Yes.
The only company
in
this space?
We're the only company exclusively focused on nerve repair.
Wow.
And that's really what the paradigm shift has been. As Dr. Bagheri said, many of nerves were previously repaired with a surgical procedure. In many cases, that procedure required that the doctor harvest nerve from somewhere else in your body, most often the ankle. That creates an entire additional surgical site and all the potential complications of that surgery site. So there was a huge demand in the market for an off-the-shelf product to repair that damaged nerve.
Where can the people listening to Health Talk all over the country find it, log on to it?
www.axogeninc.com, and on there we have a Find a Nerve Surgeon locator. It's probably the most common question we get asked. Where do I go? We have it's new, but we're loading it up with doctors that can treat you regardless of where your nerve injury is in the body.
Really? That easy?
Well, that easy. And I'll tell you one story. We just had a woman named Shirley, and we featured her in the Rose Parade. She was representing tissue donation, and she's the second nerve tissue recipient. She struggled with leg pain for 5 years and had a variety of different procedures done. It wasn't until she had a proper nerve assessment that they found out she had nerve damage. And they were able to repair her nerve damage using our products. But just think about that, 5 years of pain before she had a proper diagnosis.
Right. So a good thing, not a good thing about nerve issues, but a good thing is I would think normally if I had a problem from 6 months ago, that's the ideal time to get it fixed. But you're trying to tell me if I had surgery or something happened to me 3 years ago, I'm not out of luck. There's still hope for me.
Clearly, it depends on your injury.
Right.
You'd have to talk to your doctor about it. But it's always better to get it treated sooner.
Right.
But there certainly are cases where you can repair later.
Dr. Bagheri, you have any incidents of a patient coming after months or years after surgery?
You're right. I mean, there's two things that impact our success rate of this procedure. As Jill said, time. The sooner we diagnose it, the better job we can do, because the nerves that are not connected properly degenerate over time, very slowly. So time is very important. We want to diagnose it as soon as possible. The patient who had a nerve injury 3 months ago is much better off than one who had it 3 years ago. That we can do a better job. And the second is if you're healthy, the healthier you are, the better you tolerate surgery and recover from some of these procedures.
Dr. Bagheri, so what did you do before there was an Axogen around? So when a patient came to you, am I stuck with this pain?
Well, we had a solution. The solution was just more complex. So as Jill said, so for example, patient has a tongue nerve injury, I would go and try to repair that nerve. And if I needed more nerve to build the nerve, I would have to go to the patient's ankle and make a separate new incision and borrow, or if I may put it, steal another nerve from that area and bring it back up to the tongue, reconnect the nerves, and reconstruct the tongue area. However, leave the patient with a new scar and a new area of numbness in their ankle, sort of strategically chosen, although it's an added problem. So now we avoid that.
Wow, Axogen's making a huge difference. So, Jill, how do you get this message out? I mean, you're a small company. You're not big pharma. So, how does the doctors in Minnesota and other parts of the country, in small urban and suburban areas, find out about what you're doing?
Well, we try very hard to make sure all the surgeons who do nerve surgery are aware of our product. We do a lot of education with surgeons working on the surgical techniques. And now we're starting to get the words out to patients. And frankly, I've noticed I can go to a cocktail party, I can go to a restaurant. When the question comes up, what do you do? And we start talking nerve problems, I can always find a nerve injury in the room. At Axogen, we know there's a lot of unmet need for this product and our product portfolio. Among patients.
So for a chief marketing officer, this is an exciting opportunity, right? It's like a dream job.
I love what I do. This is absolutely a dream job. Axogen is a very special company, and it's an honor to work for a company that puts the patient first and foremost. If we do that right, everything else from a business standpoint will flow, and I believe that wholeheartedly.
So as an entrepreneur, I love the idea that you're in this emerging market growth company. This is like really exciting. How big is the marketplace?
It depends on how you measure it, but we believe in the United States it's a $1.6 billion market. As I mentioned, 1.4 million nerve injuries, 900,000 surgical interventions a year.
Wow.
And we'd like to make sure that people have choices. That would be my nirvana. People could have a choice when they go in.
And again, how do people find the company? And how do I find a doctor that actually can help me out, like Dr. Bagheri?
Go to www.axogen, AXOGENINC.com. And there's a lot of information out there about nerve injury.
Great. And Dr. Bagheri, can you tell everyone where your practice is and how do we get in touch with you?
Well, I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. I practice in North Atlanta, Marietta, and Alpharetta area. I also operating at Northside Hospital here in Atlanta. So I'm easy to find, website, and we're here.
You guys were the best first guests I could think of to have on Health Talk that you're listening to. And each week we hope to bring you incredible guests like this. And Rob, why don't you take us out of the break?
Yeah, we'll be back. We're going to be back after we get caught up on the news. Want to really do a quick special shout out to 1-800 Public Relations for all their PR and media support. You're listening to Health Tech Talk with your host, Ben Choder. I'm Rob Scott, Talk Radio 640 WGST. We'll be right back.
Atlanta's compelling talk. Talk Radio 640 WGST is available anywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Download it now at WGST.com.